See what she says.
You're a good man. We just show up.
You know what?
That's all you need.
We're always here. We're
show
local,
up.
so it's not a big deal for us. Sundance comes in, and it's like cool because we get lots of
Ruins your
people
life.
from
Weird.
all over, and
Yeah.
it kind of ruins our commutes and
Yeah.
trying to get in and off of our out of our work
Dang,
sites.
Oh,
But
you live here?
this is my office.
Oh.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, then yes you do, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Pretty
yeah,
much.
this
So you're
is my
stuck here.
location.
That's the wall we're not supposed to film too. So we're gonna keep it over here.
The last guys did. It's only worth. I think there's only about. Just so you guys have a clue, it's probably about $5 to $7 billion worth of projects.
Oh.
That's all?
That's it.
I imagine that the guys who were here last, nobody who watches their site is going to have any idea what any of that
You know what? I'm
is.
pretty sure anybody that would watch what they just filmed, not anything against YouTube,
No.
but you know what? They don't have a brain cell left. So
That was
I'm sure they
pretty
can't
funny.
interpret anything I got up there.
They're very nice guys.
That's cool.
Really
You
cute.
know. So we saw the movie yesterday.
Oh, cool.
I loved it.
Great.
Oh, it was great.
Cool.
It was awesome. We wanted to start out. Lynn, you have a very unique, I guess, approach to filmmaking. I read somewhere it's an upside down approach to movie making. Can you just kind of tell us how Humpday came together? Like,
Sure.
what happened?
Yeah, my first feature film was made in a traditional way. You know, I wrote a script and cast it, and we rehearsed it and did it, and did it, you know, the way that films are usually made, which is out of order, and do the scene several times, different camera setups, and I never went to film school. It was that was sort of my film school, walking onto the set of my first feature, and having had a background in as a sort of a solo artist, as an experimental filmmaker, and before that as a theater actor for many years, I was really frustrated by the way that traditional filmmaking methodology seems to obstruct the acting, which is, to me, it seems like the most important work on the set. I want the film to look great. I want the film to sound great. But if the acting is not in place, if there's not a level of naturalism that allows people to come into the story, it all falls apart.
And the acting was awesome.
Thank you.
It really was, because right after the movie, I was like, that's like how we talk.
That's
yeah.
how it is.
It's like,
and that's like
like
me.
That's like me and my wife. And I mean,
yeah.
when we get an argument, that's how it is. It's
Yeah.
exactly
And
like that.
I can't
and
write
I was
dialogue.
like, I felt like I was
great.
watching myself on screen,
Yeah.
just not arguing about the same thing.
right. Probably not. Hopefully not. Yeah, and I wanted that level of naturalism. That's my first number one goal, above and beyond anything else. So the way I've come, the method I've come up with, and I did this for my second feature, and this is my third feature, and I sort of evolved it a little bit more with this one, is to start with people that I want to work with, and then we kind of handcraft a character to custom fit them. And as the characters come together, then we add each character, sort of create relationships. So with this, the starting point with this movie was Mark Duplass, who I really wanted to work with. I'd met him on another set. I was a still photographer and he was an actor, but we sort of knew of each other, and we just bonded as filmmakers because he's also a filmmaker. He's half of the Duplass brothers, and they make movies in a very similar way that I was making movies. And his acting just blew me away on set, and I just found him to be it seemed like he'd be really fun to work with. So I had this really loose premise. I came to him with this idea. I was basically fishing around for an idea of something interesting that he might want to work on. And I called him and said, I have this it's crazy, but I have this idea of these two friends who are straight. They're both straight, but they decide that they have to try and have sex together. And it was very loose. Like, we went through different ideas about exactly how that would happen. Before we came up with
I was
one
interested through the whole movie. How is this all going to play?
Yeah,
out?
right. and I think we both recognized, he was very skeptical that we could do it in a believable way, that it would actually play out in a way that you would ever believe or buy. And I think he was really excited by that challenge. And so he said, great, yeah, let's do it. And because of the way, we worked, we had a certain budget, and we were, I was self-financing it and self-producing it, and I have all of, sort of pulling together the resources at my disposal, and sort of, I wasn't beholden to anyone else, so I didn't have to sell this crazy idea to anybody else. And you can take risks, you can just go for it.
Yeah. So
luckily he was on board, and then we sort of cast out from him. So I thought of Alicia, who is somebody I'd worked with before, and this is all in Seattle. We're working in Seattle, so he came up from LA. He introduced me and Josh, and they have this great kind of weird already this kind of interesting dynamic
you see it
between
in the
them.
movie.
Yeah, and they were able to build on that. There's already little competitiveness. Like, they really adore each other, but there is this kind of between Mark and Josh too. So they were able to expand on that for the characters, and that's how it all came together. And then the plot, as we got to know the characters and the actors are a big part of their own characters' development. So as they're being fleshed out, we know who they are. We can get more and more precise about what's going to happen in each scene, because it was always, would you believe that this character would say this or would do this or would react in this way? And so as we got to know them, then we were able to cement the plot and come up with a script. So that's what I mean by upside down.
Right.
So in the acting and all that stuff, when you were doing your thing, that all came from a script, or was there some improv in there?
There's no script. There was no script at all. So what we developed was like basically
the script is actually an outline.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a very precise outline. I mean, we really knew.
Yeah.
I think that's how they do the Curb Your Enthusiasm TV show.
I think it's really similar. Yeah. And you just let the circumstances, the structure, the backstory of each character, and all the relationships.
Kind of the emotional arc of every scene
is really mapped out. And the way I've been describing it is that every element of a script is there except for the actual words.
Okay.
Because I'm incapable of writing dialogue that's going to come out naturalistically out of Alicia's mouth, as naturalistically as she could come up with herself.
Yeah.
And not all actors can work this way or are comfortable working this way. So you really have to choose just the right folks. And there are many, many wonderful, absolutely fantastic actors who just aren't comfortable coming up with their own words. They need words that they can kind of translate. But in this case, I lucked out. I tried to be precise about it, but I know a lot of it was just a great amount of good fortune to come up with this I think just incredible cast.
What was your favorite part about like if there was one experience during the filming of the movie, what was like one experience you had that was probably your favorite out of the whole production? Something that's just memorable, something that you'll always remember.
There was well, there are two things that come to mind. I'd never done any nudity on screen before, and there's a scene where my butt's on the screen, and I was so nervous about this thing. I don't have a whole lot of film experience. I've done theater my entire life, and there's rarely nudity in theater, especially for women for some reason. But I worked myself up into some kind of mad panic about this nude scene. And by the time it actually happened, Lynn had been really great about the whole thing. She was like, it's going to be fine. You'll talk through the whole thing. It's going to be super comfortable. We'll get everybody off the set that needs to be off the set. There won't be any extra people there. Ben, who's the director of photography, was like, I don't need to shoot that day. And I was like, okay, now it's ridiculous. Now I'm just embarrassing myself. And so by the time it actually came time to shoot, I was like, oh, for crying out loud, I can do this. Bring everybody in. Everybody, who cares? Bring my... Yeah, so anyway.
She was so great. And I have to say, she actually was the one who suggested that her butt actually be on
because
screen.
Lynn was being so overly accommodating. It was so great. She was like, we'll shoot it in a way that we don't need there to be any nudity. I mean, you might need to be, but we won't show any of it. And I was like, okay, but isn't that really dumb? Won't that just look totally ridiculous?
Why don't you just get the camera behind you, walk in front of the
camera,
camera,
take off my pants off, and I'll just,
bless you, bless you, bless you.
That's what I was trying to say.
It really is a great scene. I love that scene. It's so funny.
I will have to have a talk with my dad before the movie title. Okay, I'm really sorry about this.
FYI.
Yeah.
Well, it turned out awesome. We loved the film. Just when we were writing a review, we were kind of tossing around some tags we could put on there. We want to run one past you guys, okay. So get the thumbs up or thumbs down. What do you think of a bromantic comedy?
Oh, we're totally
using
yeah?
On.
Yeah, that sounds great to me.
Yeah. You are? Look at that.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. My favorite. My favorite one that's come up is a romantic comedy by Abroad.
Nice.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Right? It's pretty good.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's
we're gonna one up that one.
Okay.
Okay, good.
So
by a bodacious broad.
By a bodacious. We'll throw some adjectives in there.
I just call myself bodacious.
You did.
A brodacious.
Brodacious.
Oh, we're going too far.
Okay,
Brodacious.
all right. I'm pulling back. Sorry.
Awesome.
That was uncalled for.
Well, sweet. Well, hey, thanks.
Yeah, I don't want to take any more
Thanks for
time,
having
but thank you
us.
very
Yeah,
much.
that was awesome.
It was great to meet you.